Hello and welcome to another episode of Pageants and Pythons. Today we are going to be making a gnome. So what I am doing here is I am actually using UV resin to coat the beard so that none of the other colors get on it. And I've used a tiny amount of mica paint. If you use too much of any kind of colorant with your UV resin, it is not going to cure because the light needs to pass all the way through it. So I have used a tiny drop of white colorant, which is different than white sinker. It's much, much thinner. And then I have used a tiny bit of white mica paint to give it kind of pearlescent vibe. So then what I'm going to do is pour it directly into the beard, kind of using my little silicone tool here. And I can't go all the way around yet or it's going to drip. So we're just going to paint it on in one section. And then I'm speeding this up so you don't have to wait, but I've done it for about a minute and cured it with my little flashlight curer. And so then I'm going to do it the same thing kind of all the way around, cure it for about a minute on the outside, a minute on the inside, and then use my big curer to cure it the rest of the way around. I didn't do that so you didn't have to wait. So then I'm going to be doing the inside of the hat next, and I'm using a little bit of red colorant, which is different than alcohol ink. When it's mixed in, it doesn't spread. You stir it up, you mix it up, and it doesn't do what alcohol inks do and kind of dissipate and move around. You want to stir it and mix it and make sure it's well mixed. And then I always love glitter, so almost all my projects are going to use glitter. But if you see on here, well, I kind of have it off camera, which I apologize for, but I'm mixing it up really well. My only issue with red is it always turns out pink. And if you add too much of this colorant, it can cause it not to cure. So therefore, I add glitter, and the glitter will turn it into more of a true red. I wish that I could say I have an exact mixing process or an exact mixing amount, but usually 1 drop is about what I put into the colorant, 2 drops, and then just as much glitter as I feel like. These are so much fun, and I've done them this way, and then I've also done them painted with mica paint. So as you can see, I've stirred it up. The glitter is really well mixed. And then I'm going to pour it directly into the hat. And what's great about this is because I have painted the other part and cured it with the UV resin, it is not going to be able to kind of go into the spots where it shouldn't. That's going to be a nice coat that's going to block it. As you can see, probably after this video, though, I am not perfect and I didn't do it perfectly. But this is a really neat way to kind of keep that from spreading into areas that it doesn't need to spread into. So I'm going to pour this in there. I have used a 2-part epoxy resin, which is what I always use in these larger products. I don't ever use deep pour. I've never had to. And then here is my little makeshift thing. It does have something to steady it on the bottom, but it doesn't do a great job. So I've got this little tin, and you're going to watch me kind of stumble around here and shove it full of all sorts of stuff to keep that upright. And then I'm going to wait 24 hours before I pour in the next color. Otherwise, it's going to go into that red and it's not going to give me the desired look. So I've got my twinkle lights in there. I've got my spatulas in there, and hopefully that will hold. All right, here we are the next day. Again, I'm going to use white mica paint, and then I'm going to use some pigment paste. The reason that I use the pigment paste is because if you don't, you're always going to get an iridescent pretty look, but it's not going to be opaque. You're always going to have a little bit of translucence, which I really, really wanted this fully opaque. So when you're using that, you don't need much. If you see, I kind of scooped it out. I would never use that much for blooms, but when I want to make something fully opaque, I'm going to use a little bit more. I'm going to stir it really well. When you're using mica paints, make sure to stir really, really, really well, because otherwise you get these globs and these bloobs and it just doesn't look good. And I am still new to this. I've been doing resin for about 2.5 months, 3 months. And so I'm learning all the time. And so you'll notice I am not perfect, which you don't have to be. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be exciting. And resin is such a neat kind of medium where you can play with it and learn as you go. Pardon my big blue glove in the way. I'm also not very good at making videos yet. Learning that. All right, here's the next day, and I am going to unmold this. See how opaque that came out? It is lovely. I have begun playing with these molds and having so much fun with them. And there's just so much you can do. If there's something you want me to try or something you want me to teach on, please let me know. Pardon the nails. They are stained, guys. I wear gloves when using resin, but I am not so great about using them when I'm cleaning. And so therefore my hands are dyed from all the different dyes. All right, well, let's see if we can get this bad boy out. One of the harder ones to kind of get out, but they are stunning and beautiful. And I hope you guys have enjoyed. Like and subscribe, and please let me know what you would like to see next.
Jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing up bushels of